Just what YouTube needs, another how-to video. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel BookTime with Elvis with me, Mark, and I hope you're doing very well indeed. So yes, I've decided to make a how-to video on how to start and make a BookTube channel. Now obviously I am well placed to make this video as I am one of the biggest booktubers out there. I'm not, but I have a very nice channel and I'm very happy with it, and I've made previous videos on why you should start a BookTube channel and on content and things you can use to include in your BookTube videos, but I never really thought about actually telling you how to do it. Now I could go all techie and use screenshots and actually show you how to open a YouTube account, but I think if you're here you probably already have one of those, and plus my technological skill isn't that great, but just wanted to make this video to give you some insight into what you may have to think about in order to get your channel off the ground, so to speak. Now I've been doing this 3 years next month. I can't believe it. I don't know where the time's gone, and I love it. It's a great hobby, and I think more and more people should take it up. And you might be thinking, oh, but it's saturated. There's so many booktubers out there. Yes, there are, but like certain booktubers say that every book has a reader, I'm pretty sure every booktube channel has its audience. So they will eventually find you, but of course there are some things you'll have to do to help that and make that happen. So why start a BookTube channel? Well, when you look at a lot of these BookTube newbie tags and people say, why did you start your channel? The most common response to that is, I don't have anybody to talk about books with in my real life, so I want to do it online. Now that seems, as I say, to be the standard response, and therefore what more encouragement do you need than to start your own channel? You might be worried about your technical ability and those kind of things, and whether you'll have enough content to put things out. But trust me, you will, and you don't need a huge amount of technical ability to do that. If you have a passion for reading and you want to share that passion for reading, what better way is there than putting out and starting a BookTube channel? Now, if like me, you originally thought BookTube was its own kind of website and didn't realize it was just a subset, so to speak, on YouTube, then now you know. It is just a genre, for want of a better word, or a style of videos you can find here on YouTube, but you know that because you're watching this video. I didn't. I heard about BookTube and then Googled for the website, and it wasn't there. Oh well, you live and learn, don't you? You might be thinking as well, I'm too young or too old to be a booktuber. That's nonsense. I don't think it really matters what age you are. As I said before, your audience is out there, and it's a great community, a great place to connect with other book lovers. And believe me, probably your biggest expense need really only be the purchasing of books. And if you have a great library system or great little free libraries or secondhand shops or charity shops and that kind of thing, it may not even need to be that much of an expense for you. So how do you set up your channel? Well, of course, you need to think about a name, and you have to choose, I think, an appropriate name that best reflects your interest in books or something about you. Now, I thought about this for quite a while, and in my own case, I went for BookTime with Elvis because when I'm reading, my dog Elvis, who you can see there, hello Elvis, is always by my side, usually badgering me to play with him instead of read, but he's always there. So all of my, so to speak, book time is spent with Elvis, my dog. Now, there are so many wonderful and creative names out there on BookTube. You can look at some of those for inspiration. You could probably even punch it into something like ChatGPT or one of these AI chat machine things in order to give you some inspiration, help you come up with a name for your channel. You may choose to just go with your own name. Now, there are some things to be said about not making it book specific, because you may want to eventually expand your channel into different areas of interest. Perhaps you love reading, but you also like fishing. Now you could combine that by having like books and hooks, could be your channel name if you know you want to stick to those two things, or you might want to go for something quite generic which allows you to branch out into all your different interests. So it's definitely something you should spend a bit of time thinking about your channel name. In terms of the look and aesthetic of your channel, I think yes, it's also important perhaps to come up with a engaging channel banner and profile picture as well. Although, to be honest, I don't really know how many people look at the profile pictures, but if it's something that stands out, then we can immediately know who the person is without having to, squint and look at the actual channel name. So it can be useful in that respect. In terms of equipment you need and software, no. I mean, unless you're somebody who has a love of that kind of thing and really want to make highly polished BookTube videos, you don't need to spend a lot of money on equipment. It's not like you're a travel vlogger and you need a durable camera to take all the way around the world with you. I'm just using a webcam to record this. I've used my phone previously. I don't even have a particularly good phone. I'm sure if you have an iPhone or an iPad, it's good enough. I do have a fairly nice microphone because the sound is, I think, quite important. The picture quality, yes, it's nice if you can have good picture quality, but my web camera probably cost me something like $30-40 American, which in the scheme of things isn't a huge amount of money, I think. What about software, editing software? Well, I don't use anything fancy. Occasionally I use one of these free apps on the mobile. I think it's called InShot, and I otherwise just use the default editing app that I guess it's an app of sorts, editing program that comes with Microsoft these days called Clipchamp. So again, it's included in my Office package or whatever, so I'm not paying anything extra for that, and it is a very minimum expense, and you can, for what you need to do probably just to get your enthusiasm and love of books out there, you don't need to spend anything. You can probably find free software to do that. What about planning your content? Well, it comes down to the type of person you are. If you are somebody who at first is maybe nervous speaking to the millions of people who are watching this or speaking out to public speaking, so to speak, then you may want to prepare some guidelines. I don't think a script is really the right way to go because people can tell that, and there's something a little bit artificial if you're actually reading from a script. People want to get to know you. It doesn't matter if you have prompts to help you along, and sometimes I have them as well. Of course, I can't remember anything that happened a few minutes ago. I've even forgotten what the title of this video is. I'm just kidding. But it can be useful to have that. It can be useful to plan things in advance. When I first started, I used to plan much more. Now I don't, because I don't have so much time in the day to do that. And you'll notice if you look back over my videos, I made a huge amount in the beginning and tailed off somewhat over the last few months, but that's because I'm busy and life of course does get in the way, but I like to try and keep a reasonable trickle of content going out there. And depending on the type of videos you make, you don't necessarily have to spend a lot of time planning them. If you're going to give in-depth book reviews, you might need to plan somewhat, because you might want to quote certain passages and you will have to have those to hand. But if you're just going to talk about your overriding opinion on these books, I think probably you can wing it. But it really depends on the type of person you are. If you're somebody who's extremely well organized and a perfectionist, then setting out a plan for your video and your content may well be the place to go. If you need video ideas, as I said, I've made one previously, which you can look at, or just Google ideas for BookTube videos, and it will give you some ideas that you can use in your video planning, so you can decide what to do. But also your booktubers will help you with coming up with content as well, especially through things like BookTube tags, which people pass on the content making ideas to each other, and you'll see it. If you're a long-term viewer, you would have seen it anyway. If you're absolutely brand new to it, you'll find out what I mean very soon, should you decide to go down the road of starting your own BookTube channel. Now, I'm not an expert in videography or anything like this. I'm sure that lighting and this kind of thing can play a part. I'm just sitting here. I have a big window on that side of me and one across the room on that side of me, so I've got light coming in, but it's not particularly bright here. You may want to occasionally have a light or something on you. I put one on. Does it make a big difference? I'm not sure, but it's up to you. If it's something you know something about, then why not play with it and do it that way? But if you are really just wanting to discuss books with like-minded people, I wouldn't worry about any of that fancy that fancy stuff. It doesn't really matter. I've already talked about editing software. Do you need to edit your videos? No, you don't, unless of course you make an absolute pig's ear of it and you don't want it to be out there. Then yes, go and edit it, but otherwise you don't need to. If you're happy to talk and can talk non-stop for 15 minutes or so, nobody cares about ums and ahs. I do it all the time. It's more natural. If you're sitting down the pub, you're going to be umming and ahhing in your conversation. Your friends are not going to pull you up on it, are they? It's the same thing, really. I mean, perhaps it could be why I'm not a massive booktuber, because of the low budget feel to it all. But at the end of the day, you need to have set your own expectations and set your own goals. If your goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as you can, it's very, very achievable. If your goal is to get to 30,000 subscribers as soon as you can, most of you are going to be disappointed. But it's not the end of the day, and I don't think it's the right motivation to start a BookTube channel. You need to have a clear understanding about what your goals are. You may well get there. I mean, plenty of people started after me have got several times more subscribers, but sometimes it's just luck of the draw. It really is. So yeah, don't worry too much about the overall effect, editing, lighting, that kind of thing. I think it doesn't matter. Certainly if you're starting out, maybe once you get a feel for things and you decide it's something you really enjoy, then you might want to invest in it. Thumbnails are another nice thing to learn how to do. You can use programs like Canva. I think a lot of booktubers use it. Go to canva.com. I don't have any affiliate links or anything like that, but it's well worth it. I mean, you can get the paid version for something like $115, $120 a year. I think it is actually worth it because I use it a lot in my daily life, making lesson plans and things for school. But it's a nice tool to make, I think, quite interesting thumbnails. I do shake it up a bit. I don't necessarily have a uniform brand. Some people might say it's a good thing to have that kind of uniform brand, but you want them to stand out definitely, because you want all of us want to grow our audience. Nobody wants to sit here thinking that we're just talking to ourselves. So you want to pull in viewers with catchy titles, catchy thumbnails, and things like that. And you want to keep them by making engaging videos. Another way that you can grow your channel, I've said it a few times in previous videos, is engaging with other booktubers. Comment on as many channels as you can, get noticed, and once you get noticed, people will come and they will subscribe to you. There's no point sitting there waiting for your audience to come to you, because YouTube is a very, very big place and you are just a small needle in the haystack. You have to put yourself out there. You have to get involved initially, I think, in making tags, putting out tag videos, tagging some well-known personalities in whatever field of BookTube or corner of BookTube you find yourself in. Make some tags, make your own tags. It's not very difficult. I made, I don't know, probably 15 or something in the first year of my doing it, and it got me my core audience, I think, or at least my core amount of subscribers. You're always going to find that your viewership doesn't match your subscriber count, because probably a lot of people just stay subscribed to you because they're polite. Your viewership will always be smaller. Your likes on your video will be something like 10% of your viewership generally. But these are all numbers, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. As long as you feel that you've got through and engaged with one person that you didn't know before, it's all been worthwhile. This is a channel for you. This is a hobby for you. And once you grow, it becomes a channel for your community, I think, because we all have our own communities, and sometimes they overlap, of course, but there's enough of us to go around. There's enough viewers to go around as well. So there you have it. That's my little bit of a pep talk on how to start your channel. And I wish you luck. I think it will be something that once you start, you won't regret. And I wish you really all the best in it. Do let me know if you start a channel, so I can head over and check it out. And if you need any advice from this self-described guru of the BookTube community, but joking aside, if you want to speak to anybody about it, of course, feel free to email me. You can find my details usually in the description below, and on my website, booktimewithelvis.com. And as always, I want to thank, of course, my wonderful patrons at Patreon. Your support is hugely appreciated, as always, as is the support of everybody who watches, comments, and likes these videos that I put out. So do take care, everybody, and I really look forward to seeing how you get on. Take care. Bye.